Hey guys, how are you today? I wanted to do a one marker challenge with my Copics, and of course I picked a green color because I think green is the hardest one to work with. But it's okay, I like green, it's not that bad. And I decided to do everything in green and not just her hair and her eyes and clothes, but her skin as well. And to do that, I decided to cheat a little bit. I used a brush and I put the ink on a plate, and I used the colorless blender ink as well. And I mixed the green ink with the colorless blender ink. You could also use rubbing alcohol, but I didn't have any, so I used that. And then I used my brush to paint with it. And in a way, it was very easy because the ink lays down very smoothly, like a Copic, like a lighter Copic. But in another way, it was really hard to do that because the alcohol ink dries incredibly fast. So I had to refill on the colorless blender ink so often. That was kind of exhausting after some time, but it was okay. So I decided to color the entire piece. I didn't want to leave any white at all. I guess I didn't do that. Maybe in her face a little bit, but that's about it. What I found really hard to do was, of course, the hands. The hands. Wow. Because her fingers are so long. You see the reference picture on the right side. I think I got the proportions quite okay, so I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But in the end, one of her hands looks quite strange to me. But maybe that's just because I've been looking at it for quite some time now, and if you look at it with kind of fresh eyes, it looks quite normal. Because I always find mistakes in my drawings and paintings and nobody else finds them. And if you're an artist, I think you can totally relate to that because we all see so many mistakes in our pieces, but we just have to move on and get to the next piece because there will always be mistakes, and I think the others don't see them as much. And even if they do, so what? Mistakes happen, and they will happen in every piece. And if you try to reach perfection, you will really get discouraged in art, because I think art is a place where perfection is really unattainable, because you will always find a mistake, even if it looks perfect to others. So I really like how her hair turned out. She has this sort of haircut where the hair is short on the side and it's longer on in the middle part, and she has some great curls, and I really wanted to illustrate that, and I didn't know how to do that at first, but I think it turned out quite nicely. And her jacket has two different colors in the picture because it's light on the right side and it's a pinkish darker tone on the left side. And I wanted to do that in just one color because I think when you do a one marker piece, such a monotone color piece, it will look kind of strange if one of the sleeves is very light and the other is very dark. Right now I'm starting with the hands, and at this time it was okay, and I lay down one layer of color in a very light tone at first, and I think that was really great because I had something to start out with, and I added some shadows back in then. And I also used the marker, of course, but I didn't use it as much as the brush. I found it really nice with the brush. It was a really nice I had a lot of control, so it felt quite nice. But it dried so fast. With watercolors, you can paint a quite some time before it is dry again. And especially because I've been using a watercolor brush with water in it from Pentel, the pocket brush, or how you call them, and those never dry out. So the only thing that happens is your paint gets lighter, and in the end it will just be transparent again. But if you use a brush with alcohol ink, it dries so fast. You have to dip into the ink again and again and again. And the ink on the plate dried so incredibly fast. So in the end, I used half of my colorless blender ink. It was almost full, I guess, in the beginning, and now it's half empty. So I used a lot of that, and I have to buy some clear rubbing alcohol because that stuff is way too expensive. But I think you could use that technique in a lot of pieces because I have a lot of Copic colors, but I don't have so many that I can mix everything. I don't have light versions of every Copic that I have. But I could mix lighter versions, and so that's a really nice technique. You could do that everywhere, not just in a one color painting, so or drawing. Is that a painting or a drawing? Let me know down below if you would call that a painting or a drawing. I'm not so sure about Copics because when you actually use paint, it's a painting. And when you use colored pencils, it's a drawing. But what is that? Yeah, and then I added some more ink in her face, and I really think that her nose turned out quite good in the end because most of the time I really hate the noses that I draw, and this one turned out quite nice. And yeah, all in all, I really like that piece. I somehow really would love it if it was blue instead of green because blue is my favorite color and it would look just so gorgeous in blue or purple. But I picked green, so I went with it and I made the best out of it. And it's okay. And I really, really like how it turned out because I'm really proud of that piece. Besides her hands, I really don't like the one hand on the bottom, but it's okay. Yeah, now that I said it about 3 times, you will see the mistakes as well, but yeah. I really hope you liked that video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to, please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot. I wish you a very, very nice day, and until next time, goodbye!